The conversation I'm having with meteorologists across the country right now centers on one question: how far south does this Arctic air actually push? Because we're not talking about a typical January cold snap, we're looking at a pattern that could bring freezing temperatures to the Gulf Coast and accumulating snow to areas that rarely see it. Let me start with what we know with high confidence, then we'll work through the uncertainties. The jet stream is about to undergo a significant transformation. Currently, we're seeing relatively mild conditions across much of the southern United States. Warm and humid air dominates the Gulf Coast region. From Texas through Louisiana and into Mississippi, temperatures have been running well above normal. Some areas have dealt with severe weather. Tornado warnings were issued this morning across Mississippi. That's how unstable the warm air mass has been. South Carolina has seen persistent rainfall. Eastern Arkansas has experienced pleasant conditions with temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s. Missouri has been quiet, almost unusually so for mid-January. Around 40 degrees, calm winds, not much happening. Florida's Space Coast has enjoyed nearly perfect weather, 55 degrees, sunshine, the kind of conditions that remind people why they moved there. That's all about to change. High pressure is building over the western United States. Strong, persistent high pressure. When you get blocking like this on the west coast, the jet stream can't maintain its normal west to east flow. It has to divert. And in this case, it's diverting south. Dramatically south. By Wednesday, Arctic air begins spilling out of Canada, not just into the northern plains, which would be normal. We're talking about air that reaches all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Texas sees freezing temperatures. Louisiana sees freezing temperatures. Even northern Florida could approach the freezing mark by the end of the week. The high plains are already feeling this. Eastern Colorado reported 17 degrees this morning. Wind chills down to 5 degrees. That's the leading edge of what's coming. Clinton, Tennessee saw 20 degrees at dawn. Ohio is experiencing cold conditions. But Wednesday through Friday, that cold expands dramatically. Here's what concerns me about the Thursday timeframe specifically. We have cold air in place. That's certain. We have a developing low-pressure system. That's also fairly certain. What's uncertain is how much moisture moves north from the Gulf of Mexico and how quickly the low pressure organizes. If the low stays broad and disorganized, which is what most models currently show, we get light snow across the Ohio Valley and northeast. The southeast sees maybe some flurries, maybe a dusting, but nothing significant. That's the most likely scenario based on current guidance. However, if that low organizes faster than forecast, if it consolidates and strengthens, the game changes. Then you're looking at a potentially significant snow event that extends much further south. Northern Georgia, northern Alabama, even parts of Tennessee could see accumulating snow. Not a lot, we're probably talking 1 to 3 inches in the most favored locations. But for areas that rarely see snow, that matters. The challenge is moisture. Cold air is dry air. The colder it gets, the harder it becomes to generate significant precipitation. You need moisture from the Gulf streaming north at the same time you have cold air in place. Getting those two things to align properly is difficult. That's why southern snow events are so hard to forecast. What I'm watching closely over the next 48 hours is model trends. Are multiple models starting to show better organization of that low-pressure system? Are moisture return patterns from the Gulf improving? If the answer is yes to both questions, we need to take the southern snow potential more seriously. If models continue showing a broad, weak system, then expectations for the south remain low. Let's talk about areas where the forecast is more certain. The Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Northeast are going to see snow. Multiple rounds of it. That's not in question. The question is how much and exactly where the heaviest band set up. Tuesday night into Wednesday, an Alberta clipper moves through the upper Midwest. Michigan and Wisconsin see snow. Nothing extraordinary. 2 to 4 inches in most areas. Just typical mid-January weather for that region, but it's the first in a series. Wednesday into Thursday, the main system develops. The Ohio Valley gets into the action. Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. Snow spreads across these areas Wednesday night into Thursday. Light to moderate snow is expected. The Appalachian Mountains enhance snowfall totals. Elevation always helps in these marginal setups. Western Pennsylvania, western Maryland, the mountains of West Virginia and Virginia. These areas typically overperform in snow events. I wouldn't be surprised to see 4 to 8 inches in the higher elevations. Northwestern Indiana deserves special mention. Lake effect snow could become significant Wednesday into Thursday. Northerly winds develop across Lake Michigan. Long fetch across the lake means maximum moisture pickup. By the time that air reaches the southeastern shore of Lake Michigan, it's primed for heavy snow. Michigan City, LaPorte, areas west of Fort Wayne, 6 to 12 inches of lake effect snow is possible, maybe more if a persistent band sets up and doesn't move. Those of you in that region know how quickly lake effect accumulates. Thursday into Friday, the system moves toward the east coast. Snow continues across the northeast. Interior sections see the most: the Adirondacks, northern New England, northwestern Pennsylvania. These areas could see steady snow for 24 hours. Not intense, but persistent. 3 to 6 inches total from this system. Combined with what fell earlier in the week, you're looking at a solid snow cover across most of the Northeast by Friday. Then we get the second punch. Saturday into Sunday brings another Arctic blast, and this one looks stronger than the first. Much stronger. Cold air masses don't just affect temperature, they affect the entire atmospheric column. When you get very cold air at the surface and cold air aloft, any moisture that tries to move through that air mass produces snow. Efficient snow. The kind where snow ratios are high because the air is so cold and dry. Saturday into Sunday, the pattern supports another round of snow from the Midwest through the Northeast. The GFS model shows this. The European model shows this. When multiple models agree, confidence increases. We could see another 3 to 6 inches across the Ohio Valley and Northeast this weekend. Some areas that get hit by all the systems over the next 7 days could end up with 12 to 18 inches total. That's a significant week of snow. The upper peninsula of Michigan has been dealing with robust winter conditions already. More is coming. Western Michigan, same story. Syracuse, New York, has received 70 inches of snow this season. More on the way. This is what winter looks like in these regions. Nothing unusual about multiple systems in January. You've seen this pattern before. Now, back to the south. Because I know that's what many of you are focused on. Saturday into Sunday, the European model shows something interesting. After the second Arctic blast moves through, and temperatures are even colder than the first round, moisture tries to work north from the Gulf. The model shows snow developing across parts of the southeast. Alabama, Georgia, possibly parts of northern Florida. This is 6 days out. Let me be very clear about forecast confidence at that range. It's low. Snow forecasting in the southeast is difficult even at 2 days. At 6 days, it's extremely difficult. The models don't handle these setups well because they're rare. There aren't many historical analogs to compare against. Small changes in track, timing, or moisture availability make huge differences. That said, the pattern supports at least the possibility. The cold air will definitely be in place. That's the easiest part to forecast. Arctic air will be over the southeast this weekend. Temperatures well below normal. The question is whether enough moisture can stream north against that cold air. If it can, snow is possible. If it can't, the southeast stays cold and dry. For those in Georgia and Alabama hoping for snow, I'd put the odds at maybe 15 to 20% right now. Low, but not zero. For Maryland and Baltimore County, where folks have been waiting 2 years for a significant snow, odds are better. Maybe 40 to 50% that you see at least a few inches from one of these systems. The setup exists. The cold is there. The storm track is favorable. We just need things to come together. Charlotte, North Carolina has been asking about snow. You're in a similar situation to Maryland. The pattern is favorable. Whether you actually see accumulating snow depends on exact storm tracks. Stay tuned over the next few days. As we get closer to Thursday and then again as we approach the weekend, forecast details will sharpen considerably. Temperature-wise, here's what you need to prepare for. Thursday morning brings the first significant cold. Wind chills along the Gulf Coast drop to the 20s to low 30s. Houston, New Orleans, Mobile, Pensacola, morning wind chills in the 20s. Actual air temperatures will be in the low to mid-30s. That's cold enough to damage plants and potentially cause pipe issues if you're not prepared. The Ohio Valley sees single-digit wind chills Thursday morning. Cincinnati, Louisville, Indianapolis, Columbus. Single digits. Actual temperatures in the teens, Michigan and Wisconsin. You're looking at sub-zero wind chills in many locations Thursday morning. Northern areas like Minneapolis could see wind chills approaching 20 below zero. Then Sunday morning brings round 2. And it's colder. Most of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Northeast will experience sub-zero wind chills Sunday morning. Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, all sub-zero. Some northern areas could see wind chills of 30 below zero or colder. That's dangerous cold. Exposed skin can develop frostbite in 10 to 15 minutes at those temperatures. Florida doesn't escape the cold. The Interstate 4 corridor from Tampa through Orlando could see actual temperatures at or just below freezing. That's hard freeze territory for Central Florida. Northern Florida, Jacksonville through Tallahassee and the Panhandle, you're looking at mid-20s. Protect sensitive plants. Let faucets drip if you have exposed pipes. These are temperatures that can cause damage in areas not built for cold. The cold persists beyond just the weekend. This isn't a 1 or 2 day event. The blocking pattern on the west coast keeps the trough locked in place over the eastern United States. Cold air continues flowing south from Canada. We could see below normal temperatures continuing through the last week of January. Additional cold shots are likely. Additional winter storms are possible as pieces of energy move through the persistent trough. This pattern has staying power. And that's worth understanding. Some cold snaps last a day or two. This one lasts a week or more. That affects everything from heating bills to road treatment to winter fatigue. People get tired of cold and snow when it's relentless. Practical advice for the week ahead. Start with your vehicle if you're in the snow zone. Make sure you have an ice scraper, snow brush, and a small shovel in your car. Keep the gas tank at least half full. If you get stuck, you want to be able to run the engine for heat. Cat litter or sand in the trunk adds weight over rear wheels and can be used for traction if you get stuck. $3 bag of cat litter has saved many people from being stranded. Winter driving requires adjustment. Increase following distance. 3 seconds becomes 6 seconds or more in snow. Brake gently well before you need to stop. Accelerate gradually. Sudden movements break traction. If you start to slide, ease off the gas and steer in the direction you want to go. Don't slam the brakes. Other drivers will forget these basics. Count on it. Someone will tailgate. Someone will go too fast. Someone will slide through an intersection. Defensive driving matters more in winter than any other time. You can do everything right and still have someone else create a problem. Stay alert. Home preparation matters. If you need to shovel snow and you're not used to it, understand that it's strenuous exercise. Cold air makes your heart work harder. Lifting heavy snow makes your heart work harder. The combination can be dangerous, especially for older adults or anyone with heart conditions. Pace yourself. Take frequent breaks. Push snow rather than lifting when possible. If you feel chest pain, shortness of breath, or unusual fatigue, stop immediately. For those dealing with multiple rounds of snow, you have a choice. Shovel after each event, or wait until it's all done. Shoveling after each system means moving lighter, fluffier snow, easier on your back. Waiting until the end means moving heavier, more compacted snow, but you only do it once. Pick the strategy that works for your situation and physical condition. Heating systems get stressed during extended cold periods. Make sure your furnace filter is clean. Dirty filters reduce efficiency and can cause systems to overheat and shut down. If you use space heaters, keep them away from curtains, furniture, and anything flammable. Never leave space heaters unattended or running while you sleep. Check on neighbors, especially elderly neighbors living alone. A heating system failure at night when it's 15 degrees outside is life-threatening for older adults. A quick check prevents tragedy. Do they have food? Is their heat working? Do they need anything from the store before the weather gets bad? These small acts matter. Across the Gulf Coast, people have been dealing with temperature swings that cause health problems. 70 degrees one day, 40 the next, back to 60, then down to 35. Your sinuses can't adjust. Migraines develop. General malaise. Many people have been sick for weeks. The sustained cold coming this week at least provides consistency. Your body can adapt to steady cold better than constant fluctuation. For those in Florida and the Deep South dealing with cold that's unusual for your region, layering is key. Multiple thin layers trap air and insulate better than one heavy garment. Most Floridians don't own heavy winter coats. That's fine. Sweatshirt, light jacket, maybe a vest. That combination works. Cover your head. You lose significant heat through your head. A simple knit cap makes a big difference. Protect plants if you care about them. Bring potted plants inside. Cover outdoor plants with sheets, blankets, or tarps. Don't use plastic directly on plants. Plastic conducts cold. You need an air gap between the covering and the plant. Water plants before a freeze. Moist soil retains heat better than dry soil. Pipes in unheated spaces are vulnerable. Crawl spaces, attics, exterior walls. Let faucets drip overnight when temperatures drop below freezing. Moving water is much less likely to freeze. Open cabinet doors under sinks to let warm air circulate around pipes. If pipes do freeze, don't use open flame to thaw them. Hair dryer, space heater, or heat lamp. Start closest to the faucet and work back toward the frozen section. Pets need consideration. If it's too cold for you, it's too cold for your pet. Bring them inside. Dogs with short coats, small dogs, and older dogs can't tolerate extreme cold. Even cold-tolerant breeds shouldn't be outside for extended periods when temperatures drop to the teens or single digits. Frostbite affects pets, just like it affects people. Ears, paws, and tails are most vulnerable. Outdoor water sources freeze. Make sure pets have access to unfrozen water. Check multiple times per day. Livestock need extra food during extreme cold. Their bodies burn more calories maintaining body temperature. Windbreaks matter. Even hardy livestock benefit from wind protection when temperatures drop significantly. This is the kind of weather pattern that tests preparation. You can get through it fine with some forethought. You can run into problems if you're unprepared. The difference often comes down to simple things. Having a flashlight with fresh batteries in case of power outages. Having extra food so you don't need to go out in bad weather. Having medications filled before the weather deteriorates. Historical perspective helps. Many of you remember colder winters. The blizzard of 1978, the polar vortex of 2014, January of 1994. Those events were more extreme than what we're seeing this week. Colder temperatures, more snow, longer duration. You handled those. You'll handle this. What makes this week notable isn't record-breaking cold or historic snowfall. It's the southward extent of the pattern and the sustained nature of the cold. Multiple systems over 7 to 10 days. Cold that persists rather than quickly moderating. That's what we're dealing with. For younger people who haven't experienced many significant winter weather events, this is good practice. Learn what works for you. Learn what your vehicle can and cannot do in snow. Learn how to dress for sustained cold. These skills matter. Winter comes every year. Being comfortable and safe in winter conditions is a learned skill set. The pattern extends beyond this week. I mentioned earlier that the blocking high pressure on the west coast has staying power. That means the trough over the eastern United States persists. More systems are likely. More cold shots are probable. The last week of January could bring additional significant winter weather. Exact details aren't predictable yet at this range. But the general pattern is clear. For those traveling this week, plan carefully. Routes that cross multiple states could encounter very different conditions. Rain in Tennessee becomes snow in Kentucky, becomes clear skies in Indiana. Check forecasts for your entire route, not just your destination. Allow extra travel time. Winter weather slows everything down. Flights get delayed. Roads take longer. Build buffer time into your plans. Those asking about specific cities, your local National Weather Service office provides detailed forecasts for your area. They know local terrain, local weather patterns, local problem spots better than anyone. Use those resources. County-by-county forecasts give you specifics that a national or regional forecast can't provide. Model guidance continues to evolve. What we're seeing today at 6 days out will look different at 4 days out. Will look different again at 2 days out. That's normal. Forecast confidence increases as you approach the event. Don't lock in plans based on a 6-day forecast. Stay flexible. Check updates. I'll have more information Wednesday or Thursday as the first system approaches. We'll have a much clearer picture of who sees what and how much. Then again, Friday or Saturday as the second system comes into focus. Significant weather patterns require frequent updates. Conditions change. Forecast details improve. Stay tuned. This week tests winter preparedness across a large part of the country. From the northern plains through the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Northeast, and down into the South, millions of people will deal with cold they haven't experienced yet this winter. Many will see snow. Some areas could see significant snow. Being ready makes all the difference. Take this seriously, but don't panic. This is winter. This is what winter does. Cold air from Canada moves south. Systems develop. Snow falls. Temperatures drop. It happens every year. The specifics change, but the pattern is familiar. Prepare appropriately. Help your neighbors. Check on vulnerable people. We get through winter by looking out for each other. Stay safe. Stay informed. And we'll have more details as these systems develop.